Hello guys, so here is what I have been reading lately. The last book I read is called Smart Pricing. This book is written by Jagmohan Raju and Z. Zhang. I hope I pronounced that right. But here's another review for you guys, another recommendation. I do recommend this book. It's a great book, especially if you are into business. So this is all about pricing strategy, as the name says. This is a book all about pricing and study of like many of the most successful companies and how they do their pricing. So let's delve into a summary of this book. The very first chapter was actually very fascinating to me. It talks about pay as you wish pricing as a strategy to actually give the customer the opportunity to decide what they want to pay for the product. If they don't want to pay anything, in some cases they don't have to pay anything. But there is something called the law of reciprocity, and in most cases all good human beings, at least, like they want to reciprocate. So if you give them something, they want to give you, of course, something back. But of course the problem with that is, of course, some customers don't know how much to value something and they might pay less, but some people pay much more. And in a sense of kind of appreciation and as a thanks to giving this opportunity for them to pay less if they needed to, some people actually want to be generous and pay even a bigger price than the normal pricing for the product would be. So that was pretty interesting, and obviously this works great for something like music albums online, that people can essentially just listen for free if they want to, but if they want to pay the artist, they can decide how much they pay. Some other industries is a little bit tougher, but they had examples of even successful, profitable restaurants that operate on this basis, that the customers just go in there, they eat lunch, and they basically pay before the lunch, they pay what they think it's worth. And very few people, if you think about it, are willing to go, and the business owner is right there at the cashier, and they walk in and they will say that, and that they would say that they will want to have a free lunch. Very few people are willing to do that. Like, you need to be really like not normal, I think, if you just go there for a free lunch. So most people will pay a typical price for it, what they think it's worth, and many people will pay even more for that. So that was a really interesting chapter there. Then it talked about, at some point here in the book, it talking a lot about Google and how this free is actually a very effective strategy for pricing. Like, if you think about Google, they have everything, literally almost everything is free except the advertising, and that's why it's such a successful company, because they are drawing so much people in. They have so many eyeballs, they have so many people searching, because Google is free, YouTube is free, Google Docs is free, Google Calendar is free, Google has their own video meeting platform, Google Meet. They have Google Drive for storing. Like, they're literally replacing almost every competitor. Like, Zoom is paid, but Google Meet is free. There's Dropbox, but then there's Drive for free. Then there is like, I think Vimeo is paid, but YouTube is free. They are getting everyone for free, but they're gathering this data, of course, and these searches. And what's so wonderful about this is that these people actually, when they come in, they will give very specific details, because everything that you're searching online will register. Everything that you are watching on YouTube, everything that you're reading, the websites you visit, they have all this information. So it becomes a powerful marketing platform for companies to pay for Google ads then, and that's how they have become such a profitable company, even though it seems like they're doing almost everything for free. Gmail, of course, free, email, everything. There's like anything you need, basically, you can just think about Google and they will have a solution almost for that. So that was something that I really know that was a good takeaway, that you actually need to give a lot free if you want attention, and then when you have attention, then you can actually start charging for some type of service. And of course, in the marketing world, you're not charging the viewers, you're charging the advertisers. So that's interesting. And yeah, there was those were probably like the two biggest takeaways for me. Let me see the contents a little bit and check if I want to delve deeper into some other topics here. So yeah, the first chapter was pay as you wish pricing. That was really interesting. Yeah, and then was why the best things in life are free was the other chapter. So that's why the free actually works. Then talking about a lot about like price wars, how it's kind of a difficult thing when you need to compete against like big competitors, and like the Chinese market, for example, for the American companies, that the Chinese market will do everything cheaper, like less profit. There's price wars. Then there was Thinking Small, the automatic markdown, name your own price, subscribe and save, pricing for marketing profitability. That was an interesting and important one. Like if you can discount your prices when the customer is subscribing. Like if you think about Amazon, you can subscribe to their Prime, Amazon Prime, and then they get discounts. They can eventually get a little bit less. They have to pay less for delivery with Amazon Prime, but they subscribe, so they get that profitability in the long term. Because now that customer is subscribed to Amazon, so now they are not shopping other website, because they think about anything that they need to order, they think, well, I have Amazon Prime, so I'm going to look first at Amazon if I can find it. And of course in Amazon you can find almost everything, so that's why it works very well for them. A lot of companies are trying to adopt this, but it doesn't of course work for everything. But of course, like a lot of companies, if you think about like supplements, there's of course even like food delivery things, which I don't think is always that. Some people say it's not that handy, because if you order food and then you want to go eat out, now you have like this line of food that you didn't eat, like prepared meals, but you skipped some of those meals, so now you're like having. That's the problem with subscribing, that sometimes the items start adding up and you don't actually get to use it all. Like if you have coffee subscription, do you actually drink all of the coffee? What if you run before out of the coffee before? So that's a that's a tough one to get people to buy into that, because a lot of people still want to go to the shop and buy their coffee package like when they need it, and they want to buy their groceries and everything. With groceries it often fails because people don't know. They order some items frequently, but they still need to go to the grocery store for some like variety, because they don't literally eat every time the same food, even though they need the same toilet stuff and equipment and whatever, toothbrushes, toothpaste, coffee and things like that. Then there was no premium, pay if it works conclusion. Yeah, the pay if it works was a pretty interesting also, that you only pay if it works, and that again is for some companies it's gonna work, for some companies that's not gonna be a very good pricing strategy. So a lot of insight in this book. If you have a business, I recommend this. Pricing is of course kind of a difficult topic, because how do you actually like value something? Like how much one person values something is completely different than how much another person values something. So coming up with the right price can be quite challenging, especially like for some products, of course, yeah, it's basically just math, but then there's many different products, services, like what do you actually charge for it. So this will help a little bit in deciding that. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I will link this book in the description if you want to order it from Book Depository for a small commission. You can use my link, no extra charge for you. It's just a little commission on these books that I recommend on this YouTube channel. And make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. I'll post some more videos of books I read in the future. Hopefully this was helpful, and I see you later.